Welcome back to Great Day Washington. May is Military Appreciation Month, and every Monday this month we are highlighting an organization helping the military community.
Today we want to talk about the Honor Movement Foundation. This is an organization that's dedicated to raising money to meet the needs of military families after a loved one is injured or killed in the line of duty. So this morning we are joined by the founder, Keith Jolly, and also board member, Krista Minsick. Welcome both. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Krista.
Keith, we go way back. I have been part of this Ruck to Remember, which is just one event that you do every year. Right. Talk about why you started this whole foundation.
Yeah, and I should apologize to your cameraman, Ellen, on what happened on that final miles.
We joined you for the Ruck.
Yeah, he sure did. He sure did, and he had the heaviest pack and the heaviest load. But yeah. Nonetheless, the Ruck to Remember was founded in 2011, just really for a purpose of bringing veterans and civilians together, but more so just for the loss of my brothers, and certainly the board shares that as well, but started as really an organic movement within a movement, and from there has grown into the Honor Movement Foundation, which is a fully fledged nonprofit 501c3, to really shape that focus. And I want to turn over to Krista to kind of elaborate a little bit more on that.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, like he said, it's been over, more than the last decade, and the organization, through basically a pass-through, has raised close to $1 million. And now this is an opportunity to really bring that in and organically focus on how we're going to use those funds and really try and focus on those individual, whether it's service members, families, first responders, and funnel that directly into helping those individuals.
How do you guys help? Is it mental health services, medical?
Yeah,
How do you help?
That's a great question. I think something that's really unsaid in a lot of the veteran organizations that are out there and charities-wise is the one thing I think that we can really be a tool and really help in and support is moving the hurdles of the logistical and operational maneuvers of getting folks to a path of recovery. We're not necessarily the charity that will fix the brain or heal the leg. We're the ones that will get you there and clear those paths, not just from a logistical transportation ways, but also from an empowerment community standpoint. And what I mean by that is a lot of veterans, and let's not forget first responders, go through just this terrible environment. And with that comes just this mental warfare in their head, just because the war's over, the fight's still beginning. And with that, surrounding them with a sense of community and brotherhood, sisterhood, and really keeping them motivated and on target to make sure they can get to that path of recovery, whether that's mental or physical. That's why the Honor Movement is there. And going back to real quickly to touch on the movement, when the movement started with the Ruck to Remember. And what I saw really in the roots of the whole movement was veterans and more veterans coming to join this very arduous movement over Memorial Day weekend, nonetheless, a physical hike and walk. And that was a release for our veterans. And now we have first responders joining and civilians joining, and what's special this year, we have some teenagers joining with their dads. Awesome. And the final miles, which Ellen was a part of, we now have little kids and babies joining, and it's just amazing to.
You can bring Mara out there this year to the final mile.
We should all come.
Yeah, we
Talk
should.
about the final miles, or I guess people can join in on the entire thing. The final miles that we did was mostly just around the memorials, and then you end.
Correct. The big movement for Memorial Day is the 60 to 60, which is a very physically demanding hike. But the final miles, and I think, is the best part of the Honor Movement and the Ruck to Remember, because not only is it less miles, it's physically just this humbling, silent maneuver through the war memorials as you see the veterans of those war memorials there, the families of those veterans there, and just the ambiance of the entire gravitas, if you will, of the monuments. They go through and reflect, and like I said about the children that are in there learning about that, because we teach them about the monuments too.
Their history.
The children learn about the history of that and what those monuments really mean and the sacrifices that were made. And the final, and yes, to answer your question, Ellen, we left registration open past today, just
so
more people could join.
Yes, exactly.
It's really moving to do it for Memorial Day. It really brings it back. It's not about picnics and barbecues. This is why we have this Monday off.
Thank you guys so very much for all that you do for our servicemen and women and our first responders. If you want to be part of the movement, there are many ways to participate. Just go to thehonormovement.org to find out how you can get involved as well.